Hello, this is Nathan. Before we answer the question why the Czech or the other countries should be aware of China's human rights abuse, for me it's important that we understand what is the Chinese Communist Party and what their sole purpose is. For the Chinese Communist Party, the sole purpose of all of their work is to remain in power. Remaining in power is more important than the interest of the country, interest of the people, and all the other things. So in their head, they have to sustain the legitimacy of the government mainly by two things. The first one is economic reward, and the other is nationalism. So in recent years, the economic reward of the Chinese Communist Party could offer to its people decline, so they boost their legitimacy by emphasizing a staunch nationalism. So that's why we have been observing the wolf warrior diplomacy and all the intimidation of it to its periphery and to the world, to be honest. So by knowing that, we understand that the Chinese government, the Chinese Communist Party, when they wanted to be remain in power and they wanted to let the people of China believe in them, they, on the other hand, have to discredit democracy in order to um, remain a very popular nationalism rhetoric that they are walking into the right path. And the Western world, which are dominated by liberal democracies, are their natural enemy. And China has to revive by defeating them, by erasing the humiliation of the century. So for them, not only by boosting that narrative internally, but they also do a lot of things on the democracies to infiltrate them by espionage, soft power, sharp power infiltration, spies, or misinformation campaign in order to discredit the democracies inside out, to dismantle them, and to fight for the legitimacy of their political system. So for me, the past decades of democratic decline, the decline of democracy, the recession of democracy, it is because the liberal democracy has been offering the discretion to these authoritarian countries, thinking that the narrative of democracy is strong enough to resist the challenge of authoritarianism. And then at the end of the day, to be honest, it isn't. Under the current technological era, that is much more easier for them to do a lot of things online, to discredit, to spread information, and to create like a parallel universe for the Chinese people and the people around the world who believe that China could rise and become dominant in the world, that their system, well, if it's not superior, then it's equivalent to democracy. So I think this is a major mistake that the Western world made for the past decades, thinking that China would follow the ordinary modernizational theories path when it gets richer. Its people would rise and to demand the rule of law and accountability of the government. And the result is the completely opposite, that they grow more and more authoritarian and then threatening the global order and challenging the legitimacy of liberal democracy, and then to commit the human rights violation in order to remain a superior position in the country. So I think it's important for the democracies to realize that point and to start to act, to start to be united and to defend our democratic values together.